maybe we can then quickly talk about social life, and specifically, let's say you applied for your master's program and then you got accepted, hopefully, and then you decided to come. The first thing that you will think about is finding a home or dormitory. So maybe we can briefly talk about this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we've all had our experiences about that.
Yeah.
For me, my first choice was to apply to residence halls or dormitories in relation with KU Leuven, because in Belgium, unfortunately, rents are very high. I mean, very, very high. And dorms are relatively less. And so I applied. So the system goes like this. You can choose 3 dorms that you want to apply to, and most of them require motivation letters about why you want to live there, which I think is so stupid because I need shelter. But yeah, I applied and didn't get in because apparently a lot of people apply. And especially after the COVID season, many people from last year came into Leuven too. So it was a bit difficult. And I had to rent a room in the private market. But luckily, the school, KU Leuven, had this website for rental houses where they give you a guarantee that the landlord is trustworthy. So you don't have to be worried about getting scammed or anything, which I know was a problem for SLA, for instance, right?
Yeah. For me, the situation was very similar. If you decided to do your master's degree in Germany, and if you just do a quick Google search, you will see that it is really difficult to find a home in Munich area. It is expensive, and many people want to find a place in here. So it's really competitive. So it was definitely kind of like a job that you have to sit on and work on it a bit more. And I had two different obstacles that I had to overcome. First one was, it was obviously that there was a potential that the advertisement that I saw could be a scam. So I tried to understand how can I avoid this, even though I still don't know the absolute answer, because you just have to be careful and try to get as many information as possible. But I cannot, unfortunately, suggest you a way that you can avoid this situation. And the second problem is, when I first came here, I had no German background. So I only speak English. And as you can imagine, not everyone speaks English. They may not prefer it. They may feel more comfortable with German. So the language barrier was the second difficulty for me. And that's why when I first apply for houses, I also write a small, kind of like a reference letter, but more like a paragraph that I try to describe myself. I'm a student, blah, blah, saying that, just to show that I'm a trustworthy person. And then I applied. Of course, in Munich, there is an option that you can go to a dormitory, but you applied and you can have a dormitory 2 semesters later, immediately, or 3 semesters later. So it depends. And that's why, for me, for my situation, I had to find a home because I couldn't find a place in dormitory. So I had to try this. So that was a different situation. For the rest of the Germany, based on my knowledge, it is not that difficult. For Munich, it is definitely something that you should be aware of. What was the situation for you, Libe? I just speak a bit, talking. Yeah. Scary.
No. I think it's the reality, because it was a little bit of the same with me too. My school was starting at October. I had to rent my house in June, I believe, and I was the last one who rented the houses. Then the whole market is going off, and there is no house around here. And I live in Padua. It's 20 minutes to Venice. If you come here, be my guest, please. But Venice is very close, but even the Venice didn't have any house for the students. Everyone was crying about it, writing to the school. There was no house. There was a lot of international students who couldn't do anything about it. And I have a lot of friends who had to go back to their country because they couldn't find a house. So you have to be quick about it. And like, I'm not talking about small numbers. I'm talking about the thousands, not from my class, but from the whole university. So it's a big deal around here. And the other obstacle about it, I think we are non-European, and sometimes the house owners don't really want to rent to houses to us. And they give you a house, but they can require a reference letter. Am I going off? Is my internet bad?
Now you're back.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry about it. So it's a big issue around here. I think it's in general in Europe. And for the dormitories, we don't really have too much dormitory options. There's there's a couple of them, but it's belongs to the government, and they you have to apply it, but they put you into the house according to your income. So I mean, Turkish people generally don't get the dormitories because the people who are from like Africa or other places like with the low incomes. I'm not saying we have high incomes than Europeans, but people who have low incomes, they transfer to dormitories. And there's only one private dormitory here, and the rents are really high. And I'm living in a shared house, and I'm really happy with my house, and I'm paying less than dormitory. So it's a big issue. You have to be careful. You have to keep that in mind. You have to do your searching in the summer. I mean, it's the process. I'm sorry about it, but it's the thing.
Yeah, as early as you can. Housing is an issue, I'm afraid.
But even though you were one of the latest students, right?
Yeah.
That made the application for the dormitories. What was your trick? I mean, how could you be able to find a house there?
My trick is having a friend who is more passionate than you to look for the houses. It was my trick because he rented a house and then said that you have to be careful. There's not much house left. And I was in a summer vacation or something. I was just like procrastinating. Then I came back to my house and I realized there's only one or two options and I have to do it. And I directly write it to the owners of the houses. I called them. I spammed them. I did everything. I get the last house and the system shut down. And it was crazy. Yeah. Have friends, talk with the people who are like planning to go with you and everything. Like, yeah, it's a big thing.
I think that's a great point because I definitely agree. Like as soon as you decided to come to abroad, you should try to find different people from different countries, especially if you can find people from your country. Process will be easier because if you miss any information, they will know the information, especially for the governmental procedures. Because the reason for why I said people from the same countries because the bureaucratic situation is similar. It will be really helpful, I think. Yeah.
I think something worth mentioning would be the WhatsApp and Facebook groups that you guys got into, right? I mean, I didn't have something like that, but maybe it would be beneficial.
Actually, because I was in Germany, I was pretty lucky about this because there was a WhatsApp group called Turkish students in Germany and Turkish students in Munich. You can definitely find those WhatsApp groups, especially if when you go to apply for visa, you will see different students waiting in the same line. So when you talk with them, you can, like even you can start a group or they will let you know that there is already an existing group that you can join. That was helpful and a benefit that there are plenty of Turkish students applying to come here.
Yeah, it's the same for me too. There's like big WhatsApp groups with Turkish students who's like in the University of Padua. They really helped. If you have any questions, there's always someone who knows the answer. So it's really beneficial in the beginning. And they also help you to find houses or like you can come together with the people to find houses and everything. So yeah, you should ask people if there's any group, if they know something about it, or you can create one. It's definitely one of the things to keep in mind. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah.
May I ask a question to you, Sıla Hanım, about the scamming? It's just out of curiosity, you said that there are a lot of scamming issues in Germany. Is this something that you had heard, or did this actually happen to you? Like, are students targets for these types of things?
No, I think the target is not specifically our students. Target is anyone that they can scam. And I think this situation is the same in many places, especially if you're looking a house in Facebook groups, for instance. This can be a target, or different websites. I can actually, like, at the end of this meeting, suggest you a couple of websites that you can go and check for houses. These are especially useful if you're looking for shared places, because rent is usually cheaper in those. But while looking that, there is a scamming situation going on, and this didn't happen to me, but a friend of mine experienced this situation, unfortunately, and it was really heartbreaking. But and honestly, like, I don't know how to avoid this, but simple things like making a video call, if you have a chance to go to the house, doing that, or signing a contract, those are the things that are, you might feel a bit better about this. But as I told you, like, the target is definitely not specifically us, but or students, like, but I think that they just try to find people who can.
Yeah, I remember
for this
seeing
stuff.
on application websites, like for Belgium at least, they actually wrote down that be careful about scamming in housing.
Mhm.
And they gave certain websites that were trustworthy. So maybe for your applications, you can check whether the website has any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
actually,
think Lube experienced kind of
yeah, she knows my story. Yeah, the thing is, I found a very beautiful house. Like the first time I came here, I wanted to change my house, and I'm just generally looking at the houses. I know everyone was looking. I found a very beautiful house. I should have guessed that it wasn't real, but then the owner sent me a link that I should put some deposit or something like that. They created a fake Airbnb site, so it was complete. It looks completely real, and you first have to put your deposit. Then you're gonna see the house. That's what they claim, and then you're gonna rent it and everything. The process is gonna go on and on. The thing is, something I don't know bothered me. I didn't do anything, and then I asked the name of the owner in the WhatsApp groups. Like, does anyone know her? Like, did you ever hear or did you ever rent a house from her? And like 10 or 15 people start to write, she like got my money and she's not real. Don't do that. It's a fake Airbnb account. Check it with the right real Airbnb and everything. So yeah, thankfully I didn't give any money. It was the beginning of it, but yeah, it's real. I mean, scamming is, especially in the Facebook groups, it can be a real issue. But yeah, you can check it with the other people. You can ask around. You can search it in Google. It also shows a lot of results. Yeah. Maybe we can go on with the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but just before going that, I just want to say, for this housing situation, you're usually alone, but for the other stuff, school helps you a lot and you don't feel alone. In general, my program helped me enormously. I was really thankful for that. They helped me from the beginning. Like, I mean, you can think even small things like applying for health insurance. They specifically listed the companies that I can apply for, like, if I want to open a bank account, they specifically listed the places that I can check for. So they really helped me about this. So schools are usually trying to be helpful, especially to their international students. So even though housing is a bit more stressful and you are a bit more alone in this, for the other stuff, you can feel a bit more safer, at least I can say. And maybe we can also talk about financial situation, because I know this might be another kind of scary topic as well. Lübe, if you want, you can start first, because I think your situation is a bit different than ours.
The Italy has a very different system. So I'm here with a full scholarship. They are paying me monthly, and I don't pay any money for the school. They have a waiver for it, and I also get one meal every day in the canteen. So there's like big opportunities in Italy about that. They give you scholarship depending on your income. So there's a big process, like they require a lot of documents you have to collect from your mother, your father, or whoever you're living with. I mean, all of the sisters, brother, and all of the siblings. You have to collect all of the information. You have to legalize it. You have to change into a Italian version of it. Then you have to apply and wait for the results. But I believe that in general, if you're coming from Turkey, because of the situation with the Turkish lira compared to euro, I never met any Turkish people who didn't get a full scholarship. So that's the thing. But it may happen. But in Italy, yeah, you have this opportunity, but it depends on the every university you're applying for. So for me, after they collect these documents, they give you some number, that's your point, and how much you're gonna get the scholarship or something like that. For my university, if you had something lower than 20,000, you get a scholarship. But from the Sapienza Rome University that I talk with my friends, you have to be in the 10,000 one in the list. So it depends on the university, but I believe that it's a really big and good opportunity for the Italy. It's really helping you with your studies. It helps you to focus on your master program. You don't have to worry about finding a job or like how to I don't know how to follow the euro to Turkish liras and like everything. It helps you a little bit. I know my situation is different, but there's always this opportunity. It's not because I did something different in my bachelor's. It's depending on my income. So there's always that option.
I think this is really nice because when we are checking for master's program in abroad, we usually see that Germany is really cheap in terms of tuition fees. But I think not many people know about this scholarship situation in Italy and may not apply just because of that. So I think that's really nice that they offer such.
Can I say something
of course, yeah.
About the thing Sıla said about Italy right now? I think people noticed it, and it's really high competition there. Actually, I applied for it and I got declined, and almost all of my cohort applied for Italy and they all got declined. So they all got
So the thing is, I'm sorry.
That's except for Italy right now.
Yeah. The thing is, right now in my department, I think we are like 17 Turkish people and 12 Italian. So we are more than Italian people. And the last year there was a lot of Turkish people who applied and they all got the scholarship because of the income. I think they're trying to strict it a little bit. And not really people know it before, but it became really popular. I think people started talking about it and like it spread around the Turkey, and they strict having the Turkish people in here. I think. I mean, I'm talking specifically about Padua, but I don't know the other university. But I believe it's the situation right now in Italy. Also, I should have mentioned that there isn't really a job opportunity option in Italy if you don't know any Italian. For the students, I mean.
Lübe, about this, can I ask a question? Because is it the same in everywhere in Italy? Because like in places like Rome or Milan, is it possible to find jobs that you can speak English if you don't know Italian?
It's not that common because I have a friend who studies in Sapienza. They really require some level of Italian, and because of the scholarship also Italian people got scholarship too. Because of the scholarship, the student doesn't really look for job opportunities. So there isn't really market for it. So it's really hard. And I was looking for it, but I couldn't find anything. You have to have Italian, and I don't think you're gonna find anything related to your department. You're either gonna find something as like in, I don't know, restaurants or like some hotels or something like that. So it's going to be a dirty job, not something related to your field like yours. It's situation a little bit different. I think you should talk about it. But yeah, it's not a place to look for a job. But scholarships help you a lot.
Okay. But yeah, I agree. I think in Germany, the situation is a bit different. Maybe I can talk a bit. The tuition fees are quite low compared to other European countries, even though it's not I cannot say cheap thinking about Turkish currency, but definitely lower compared to most European countries. If I'm not mistaken, it should be 140 euros per semester. So you have to pay that fee every semester. And if you want to apply for scholarship, one of the first scholarships I think that you should check is TEF scholarship. It is a joint scholarship that German government and also TEF create together. You are just going through an application process, and if you get accepted, they will provide you enough money that you can live there for 2 years. And if you have that specific scholarship, you also don't have to have an account called block account in Germany, which I will just talk about this. So if you had that scholarship, you don't have to have a blocked money in your account, which is nice. For my situation, that wasn't the case. I couldn't get the scholarship, and then because I couldn't get the scholarship, things becoming more tense for me and stressful for me, because I was thinking, how can I have this block account? And this block account, actually, first I will talk about this. So German government wants you to have enough money before you came to Germany, so that when you came here, you don't have to suffer. So they want you to show a confirmation that you can actually live here without any problem. So that's why you have to block a certain amount of money in your account, and you cannot touch that money. And it's around 10,000 euros. And this fluctuates, I think, in a couple of years. So this might slightly change. You should check. And once you block that amount of money, and when you came here, you apply for a process called Anmeldung, which is city registration. And once you register for the city, for every month, that bank send you around 800 euros to your account. So you cannot reach all of those 10,000 at once. They send you this money for 12 months. So it's kind of like a salary that you blocked for yourself. And then at the end of this, and this is only for 1 year, obviously, because it covers for 1 year. For the second year, you have to finance yourself. For me, that was a bit stressful, because I was thinking I cannot have another 10,000 euro for this situation. And I was looking for jobs in internet. And because I also didn't know German, I was specifically searching for jobs that I can do with Turkish, because I knew that there is a huge Turkish population in here. For some reason, I didn't check jobs in English that much. And actually, the jobs that I found was more like cleaning a house, babysitting, that kind of jobs, which is also really nice. If you want to do that, you can do. But I actually never imagined working in a corporate or working in a research institute. And when I came here, in my mind, I was thinking that I will apply for cleaning jobs or babysitting jobs. And I was stressful that how can I find a family that they are looking for a babysitter speaking Turkish or English and not German. So I was thinking about this, but actually when I came here, I realized this shouldn't be a concern for me for this situation, because in Germany, especially in Berlin and Munich, these are really big two cities that accept people for different job situations with English. So for me, I was really lucky to find a job that right now I'm working in Max Planck Institute as a part-time student. And this is a job that they hired me to become more like a research assistant. So I was able to use the experience that I had in Bilkent and go there and do what I like, research. And I was really lucky about this. And I know that I'm not the only one, because everyone in my cohort works in a part-time job. That's maybe 1 or 2 people, they don't work, but it's either because of they don't want at that moment, or they're looking for a better job, all of those things. Of course, it is easier to find jobs if you know German, that's for sure. But even if you don't know, you have an option that you can have a nice job that you feel comfortable and maybe like doing it, and it's enough to cover your all expenses. Right now, I don't have to, I don't know, ask for money from my family or apply for another scholarship, because the earning that I'm having right now is enough for me to live properly as a student at this moment. And for, I don't know, for upcoming years, it is also possible to do a full-time jobs. I don't know, even if you want to work in here as an intern, it is possible that you will find a paid internship positions. So that's why you may feel fine about this and not stressed too much. But I should also say that I don't know whether this is valid across Germany, because if you apply for a university in a smaller cities, I'm not 100% sure that you can find an English job. If you know German, I'm sure you will be qualified for most of the jobs. Otherwise, if you are living in a small city, before you apply, I think you should check whether there is an English speaking position, because that will be your biggest barrier if you don't know it. Zeynep?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is why it's nice to have a friend who pays the way for you, because before Sıla got her job at Max Planck, I thought that I would be a waitress when I came to Europe. But after she started a research assistantship position, I realized that I could do the same. So I also, yeah.
Zeynep,
are you saying something, Sıla?
Yeah, your connection is a bit broken right now. Is it possible to change it or do something about this?
Maybe you can turn off your camera so that the connection gets better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I think it's better.
Okay. So my story, I was saying, was quite similar to Sıla's, because I basically copied her and I looked for research assistantship positions in my university. And I was lucky enough to find a job, a part-time student job, research assistantship as a research assistant with Turkish people. And well, to be honest, my job isn't really enough for me to cover all my living expenses. You can't hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. But yeah, it's better than nothing. And for Belgium, at least for Leuven, because this is a city built around the university and it's a very international university, language isn't really a barrier, because everyone, literally everyone here speaks English. And I don't think you would really have any trouble finding a job in English. And it doesn't have to be a research job or, you know, something like that, because I know some people who make deliveries like yemek sepeti or something. And I know people who work in the kitchen, for instance, who make pancakes for a living. So yeah, it's not really a big issue like it is in Germany, in Belgium.
Mm-hmm. I think for finance situation, it's always. Also, Zeynep, by the way, do you know any information about general tuition fees in Belgium?
Yes, of course. I mean, not the general ones, but I know that they're way cheaper than like in the Netherlands or other European universities. I know most of you probably know about these. Like they ask for 15,000 euros, 20,000 euros, and that's just not possible for most of us. But for KU Leuven, I think I paid something around 1,200 euros per year, not per semester. So it was really appropriate considering the other applications that I made. So I think in Belgium, that's like the general range, but I'm really not sure about the other universities. So maybe it's best to check them